What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what happened with CPI coming out, how this affected NIO, and how this may affect NIO going forward. Now, before I break anything down, though, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks, plus you'll have free level 2 data with $0 in trading commissions. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends today, so make sure you check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Unfortunately, NIO had an almost identical close as yesterday, closing at 0.00%. Once again, and not really much happened. Today was a day full of manipulation. It was a very, very crazy day. So CPI came out, the market gapped down, then we had this fake out rally, getting people so excited. Then we got a big rejection. We came all the way down with another fake out drop, crazy volatility. Then NIO started respecting an uptrend, and overall, NIO was flat, SPY was flat, QQQ was a little green, getting propped up thanks to Microsoft and also Tesla. It did play a big role in the Nasdaq going up, at least. Tesla actually helped, not Microsoft, Tesla. And that in turn is now affecting how the market's moving. I want to break down just a couple of things as fast as possible. So SPY has a ton of puts out of the money for Friday. Institutions are going to try to get them in the money, but the market makers are going to do the opposite. They're going to try to keep the market afloat. That tells me that the market's not going to just tank instantly. I do think we might see just lots of sideways action this week, maybe with a slight downtrend to it, but overall, not really too much for this week. It's looking like the market makers are very strong and they're going to try to hold this up. And on top of that, we're not seeing the same crash reaction as previous CPIs because CPI was a little bit hot. It actually came out at 6.4% year over year, higher than the forecast. Core was also a little bit hot as well, 5.6%. Month over month, we did see the same readings though. And then the Fed came out today and they were actually quite hawkish. And despite that, it did not actually affect the market too much, despite the new calculations. We have the 0.5 increase. This is showing a sign that inflation is actually increasing a little bit. Not enough to crash the markets, though. The markets are still strong. Buyers are still stepping in. And we are seeing this right over here, the CPI for all urban consumers, not seasonally adjusted. It's showing a downtrend, but it's showing a slowdown in the red, which this is downtrending. This is going to likely show an increase soon. Seems very possible. Now, we did see energy go up, utilities go up quite significantly, and this is actually played a big role in seeing this coming up. Food also came up to some degree by 0.5%. And overall, the numbers once again up 6.4% on a unadjusted 12-month basis, 0.5% up for the month. So CPI was a little hot. The Fed was more hawkish than before. Not enough to crash the markets because of manipulation and also because of many buyers still stepping in. NIO was flat with 37 million in volume. The short volume percentage went up just a little bit, basically flat, not too much. And then NIO has a low price price ratio. It has been underperforming a bit because the Nasdaq was actually green today, and that was because of Tesla once again. And then typically NIO was actually green on Wednesday, so there is a good chance NIO might try to get a green day. This was also on NIO's Twitter page. We can see right here the NIO Eve in 2017, which redefined the space of a car. It's like a second living room for the users. It's very awesome how they're coming up with these new designs. So now I want to break down just SPY, QQQ, and NIO, with the VIX breaking down into its falling wedge, and also with the dollar just trading flat. If the trend continues, we're likely going to see the market continue to trade flat as well. SPY is in a rising wedge-like pattern. We have resistance around this 413 area. There's also resistance at 415. I do believe we're going to try to push up a little bit tomorrow morning, but we might get a break to the downside. We might end up coming down to 410 for a retest, maybe 408. I don't know for sure if we can actually get that low, but I'm just seeing us trading sideways and flats, but we could get a pretty much flat close tomorrow. There's not really a real trend as of right now. And then on NIO, we have a pretty flat day for NIO. Not really much going on compared to like Tesla and the QQQ. QQQ was actually on a nice uptrend. It was stronger. I think the QQQ is going to get a retest of 308. If we break that, then there's that 310 area. I don't know if we're going to clear that, but I do believe Tesla has a little more room to keep going. So that could try to drag the QQQ up to this 309 area, but then 309 to 311. And then after that, we might see it just trading sideways. So I do believe we are going to see more chop going forward. For NIO, two flat days in a row, but it did try to push up a bit. I do believe NIO is going to try to fight for this zone right here, this 10.4 area. Trade a little bit sideways around here, maybe come down again to 10 and get a bounce. But overall, I do think NIO is going to have a very flat day again, maybe a somewhat green day. I don't anticipate way too much. I think the week is going to be a little boring because we're still waiting for more information to come out. NIO was on a downtrend, but it's starting to base around 10. We're seeing buyers stepping in. So I wouldn't be surprised if NIO sees a sideways day, maybe a somewhat green day tomorrow and tries to get a push above 10.4. That's really all I can say. There's not really much else going on. I really want to keep this video a little bit shorter. And I just want to note that right now, the market's in a very interesting state because of the fact that we are still quite overextended, and the hawkish Fed and high CPI, or at least somewhat higher than expected CPI, is not necessarily crashing the market right now. The market is still strong. Buyers are still stepping in. So we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. I do believe the market is going to get a pullback later, maybe closer into next week, maybe the end of the week. I just don't know for sure, but I do believe a pullback will eventually come. The market is still due for it, just a small pullback. And I do believe that could actually drag NIO down. In the bigger time frame, even though we are trading sideways on NIO, we look like we have a distribution pattern right here, and NIO could get dragged to about 9.5 and maybe try to hold that area in the future. Am I saying it tomorrow? Not for tomorrow, but maybe later into the end of this week, maybe going into next week, I could see NIO come all the way down there. So please be very cautious. We also temporarily broke below 10, but we came right back up. I think as long as the market holds up, NIO is going to remain flat, maybe somewhat green tomorrow. But if the market starts tanking by the end of this week or next week, just a little bit, if we pull back a bit, NIO could come down into the nines. I don't think it's going to happen as soon as tomorrow, but I do believe it could happen soon. So anyways, don't forget about 9.7 and 9.5. And like I said before, just remain calm, cool, and collected and do what you have to do. I thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of the day. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is still very bright. And peace out.